Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day or night it is that you're listening to this. I wish you the best of it. I'm Grant Lamontang from multitool.org, and this is EDC-TV. With me tonight, as usual, are my good buddies Abe, Elias from Diving Sparrow Knife Works, and Inky, the online knife trader extraordinaire. How are you guys doing tonight?
Very well.
Good, thank you.
That's good. Do you guys think that maybe we're ready to actually tackle that topic we completely forgot about last week?
The one about what too many models can do to a man?
Yeah, something like that.
We didn't completely forget about it. We mentioned it.
Well, that topic, just in the off chance that either of you are feeling like talking about it again tonight, is why we EDC. Why do we carry what we carry? What is the mentality behind it? But we'll get to that eventually. First off there, either of you guys get anything cool, new, exciting this past week or so since our last recording?
I returned a Benchmade,
Really?
so but I'm getting a new refund, hopefully today or tomorrow.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, or?
Yeah, I sent it back, and when they get it, they can refund. I think it was a shootout. Is that what it's called? I think it was Grindworks. They put out like a different edition of it. It was just like a NS30V blade, stone washed or whatever, and a regular black handle, a little bit less than what the other ones are, I guess you could say. And I liked it. It was a very nice knife. I don't know, something about the action for me I didn't love. But yeah, it was a nice knife. It was only $200. The other ones are three and change. So
To say that's
it was a nice thing they did, but I kept it for a month before deciding. I really didn't want to let it go, but I realized I wasn't going to use it. But I think it's a great knife. The handle feels like a regular knife handle.
Cool.
It's not a, once you see it in the photos, when you're holding it, it's like holding a knife. Most out the fronts were a smooth, rectangular handle. This thing is a really good work knife. It was nice, very, very lightweight. Good everything. Just for my thumb and the way it is, I don't, certain OTFs bother the angle, but there was absolutely nothing wrong with the knife itself.
That's understandable. I mean, even you spend a couple of $100, you want to get what something good out of it, right? You don't want to spend that money on something that doesn't work for you.
Yeah, it's one of the stuff I'm using right now if I buy anything, because I'm in selling mode.
So what about you, Abe? You get anything new or exciting in the past week?
I've got some new stuff, just got it in, and I just ordered. So get this, they had a big honkin', never heard of the company before. It was called Axe Gear. So Best Buy, yeah, big honk, big one. It was supposedly a $40-50 flashlight, 10,000 lumens, and they knocked it down to $20. Yeah, so we're going to see how that works, how many retinas I can burn out. I also got some utility knives. So I got the type that have the replaceable blades, like the kind of one we were playing with, but they're more full size. Like the one actually looks like a drop point folder. The other one is the trapezoid blade, but it's got an assist on it, and so does the one I was talking about that looks like a regular folder. It's assist open. And I've got, it hasn't shown up yet. It's on the way. 2 Gerbers, the Gerber Slim, EAB Slim, and the other, like the slim version of that. It's just a smaller version. And I also ordered the Shard XL and the Shard DT. So it's not like I needed them, but somehow I just got into a buying mode. I think it was because Grant's flashlight wasn't something that I wanted to buy, and I needed to buy something. Yeah, that's the Shard XL.
Yep, I've actually got mine. I think it's arriving tomorrow.
How is that time? Oh, you don't know?
I don't know. I'll tell you tomorrow.
I think mine's supposed to be, I think all my Gerber stuff is supposed to be here by the 8th.
Yeah, mine's supposed to be in tomorrow, so I'll let you know. I've got the micarta one coming in.
Yeah.
Which one did you grab?
It's green micarta.
Yes.
Yeah, is there a tan micarta too? And
there might be.
That
I'm
looks
not
like
sure.
a map. So anyways, I got the green.
Oh, I think that's the aluminum one with the map on it, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't get the map one. I got the green micarta, and in the DT. If I didn't screw it up, I think there's a like a gray one in the DT. And it's a little keychain thing. It's basically a bottle opener and what looks like a little screwdriver on the tip and a little pry edge on it. And what was the other one I ordered? And the slim I got. I believe I ordered the white. They got a light color, a white one, whitish one, not the full size EAB, but the one down, the little tiny one that is basically the size of a box cutter.
Yeah, the one with the map on it, it has the aluminum insert.
Yeah, I think I passed that one because I figured the GT, you can ding it and it doesn't look that bad. But once you start scratching up all that aluminum, especially the map lines and stuff, I thought it ended up looking like a piece of crap. So I just passed on the aluminum.
I got the micarta one thinking I would get out my laser etcher and, I don't know, put an EDC-TV logo or something on it.
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it. It's interesting that you and I both bought the Shard XL at the same time. We have a long history with the Shard.
Well, I noticed though the Shard XL, I don't know about you, but I noticed the original Shard has way more features on it than the XL.
Yeah, but the XL has that fancy material insert, and that's, going to look better on the Instagrams, right?
It's got a pocket clip, is where our Shard is keychain. It's got a Phillips head on the original Shard, and a small Phillips, small standard and a large standard with the pry bar and a bottle opener, is where the large Shard, I think, has just a small standard, large standard, and a bottle opener and the pocket clip, but no Phillips, if I remember correctly.
There is, one of the pry bar ends is sort of one of those angled 2D Phillips, but yeah, it doesn't have an actual Phillips on it.
And that pry bar end, I think, also is supposed to count as your small standard, is it not?
Medium and small flatheads.
Yeah.
So but I'm a real big fan of the Gerber keychain tools that have come out over the years. I really, really like the Artifact when they first released it, which was basically the Shard with a folding utility blade for those that aren't familiar with the Artifact. And the Shard was never meant to be produced, but it's a fascinating story. I'd been talking to Abe after the SHOT Show, and Abe was telling me about this Shard that he got, and I'm like, no, the new tool is not the Shard, that's the Artifact. And he was like, no, it's the Shard. And then, Abe, you sent me a Shard, and it was just a giveaway for media that somehow I'd managed to miss while I was at the show. And I liked it so much, I posted it on my forum at forum.multitool.org. And from there, all the members were like, oh my God, we got to have that. And so we ended up with a giant letter writing campaign. And I'm not going to say that, I'm not going to take responsibility for, our forum being the one that put the Shard into production. But shortly after we did our email campaign where everybody emailed Gerber, Gerber announced it was going into production. So I'd like to say that we had some influence. I'm not going to give us full responsibility of that. That'd be a little egotistical. But yeah, so if it wasn't for Abe getting a freebie and then passing an extra freebie on to me, and then, we might not have the Shard, which would, of course, mean that we don't have the Shard XL.
Now, just I want to clear the air, though. When I got the extra Shard and passed it on to you at the time I was at the show, they willingly gave me the extra Shard. I did not lift an extra Shard.
I just thought you showed up to the booth a bunch of times and spoke to a different person each time.
No.
He did.
That's how I do it.
That's exactly what he did.
You know what I did that with? Do you remember
the Halloween trick-or-treat trick on them? Kept changing his outfit.
The DD, is it DDR? Not the knife company, but the Condor DDR satchel. Do you remember that? Did you ever see that? It's basically a book bag or a courier's bag.
Yes.
So I got one year, and all my friends saw it when I was wearing it around and carrying shit in it. And they said, "Where'd you get that?" I said, "It was a freebie at the SHOT Show." So the next year, I know this is pathetic. The next year, every time I passed the hot girls with the open stomach shirts that were handing them out, I would grab an extra bag. And we were coming up to the end of the show, and I'd gotten so busy, I had an order of about 5 or 6 that I had to get for people, right? And so I'm at the Buck booth, and I'm short 2. And I'm thinking, I'm going to forget or not have enough time to keep passing those girls. So I looked at the PR person at the Buck booth and said, "Look, you got to come with me." And she said, "What for?" And I said, "I need an extra person to scoop another bag for free." And she was, I forget who she was. She was a sweetheart. I wish I could have found some way like to give her a candy or something for thanking her, like, some candy or something. But she literally came with me and she grabbed a bag and I grabbed a bag, and that was the end of that. I filled my quota of about 6 to 7 bags or something like that and mailed them home, and then all my friends got their shoulder bags that they wanted for free. Weird shit happens at SHOT. So
We got a topic. Who would have thought that? Yeah, so I guess we want to look into the mentality of, why we're carrying this stuff. Why do we spend ungodly sums of money to keep little tools and things in our pockets? And Inky, what got you started in this, and kind of why do you continue? In a previous episode, you said something about, you always have to have a knife with you. So what's the thought process behind that?
It feels good to have a knife. It's like when you're young and you have your blanket or your teddy bear, I guess. It just feels like you have your thing with you. And I was always into gadgets too, so I always had something with me, something to play with or something like that. And it's small, something like that. But yeah, since I'd say I was 6 or 7 when I bought my first knife. And it was hard to get done, Took a lot of convincing and nagging. I got it, and I just always carried knives, and I'm more like gadgets and the idea of gadgets than actually carrying them, but I like to have them with me. Like, not really for use, but if I have to use it, I'll use it, but my knife is for everything, except for opening a bag of chips or something stupid like that. Like, I'll never use my knife for something I didn't have to use it for.
Right.
Like, I'll never find a reason to use my knife, but I'll always use my knife when I need it. And
Okay.
usually, if in certain circumstances, and especially growing up in New York, I usually had them hidden on me. I always had 2 or 3. I always had them 2 or 3 hidden big ones and maybe one in my pocket. And, if it was the right place, have one pocket clip it. That was a special run. But yeah, it's just something I always had to have with me. Like, when I leave my house, I'm like knife, keys, wallet, phone every day. Same
So
thing. I'll go pick a knife, put it in my pocket, and put my car keys in the bottom of that pocket. And I'll put my wallet and my phone in my other pocket till I get in the truck. Then I'll throw my phone in the console, but I don't take anything else out of my pockets.
So why the
That's it.
special appeal for the knife then? Or, is it just a utility thing, or do you think of a personal defense kind of aspect, or why is the knife your main security blanket, I guess?
You know what I think happened possibly? I always liked knives, I guess from TV and stuff. When I was about 5, I was in church out of all places, and my friend Nicky, he was an older kid, and he had an Italian switchblade, and it was a lever switchblade, not a regular button one, and it was a little smaller. It's like about 3.5 inches closed, and he showed me how it worked, and I just lost my mind, man. I couldn't even sleep, and that's what really set me off. I just lost my mind about it. He made me swear not to tell anyone, and by the next day, I was already telling my father I needed one. He's like, "Where'd you see one?" I was like, and I pretty much snitched Nicky out by accident.
What got me into those Italian switchblades wasn't the switchblade at all. It was, you remember in the early mid 80s, everybody had those Italian switchblades, but instead of a blade, it was a comb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought those were the coolest things ever. So that's kind of where my interest in that.
I used to get home, cut the steak knife blades off, about the comb, put that in, and bang it down. And usually it ended up with a knife flying across the kitchen. Not too bad though. Once in a while, like a bad frisbee. Yeah, my mother was very happy with me. I was just insane knife, man. Insane. Just out of control knife. That's all I wanted.
So you weren't so much fascinated by the knife itself as the whole mechanism of having a knife.
I don't know what I'm still the same way, man.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Honestly, it could be a $1,000 custom or an Ethan. Even this thing I love this thing, man. It's pink and I love it.
That's
pink.
What was that one called again?
The
Dagger.
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 2 G's, 2 R's.
Right,
It's a
right,
pink
right.
dagger. I don't know this one's called the something or other.
Well,
I can
something
never
or other.
remember the name of this.
The Dagger something or other, folks. Make sure to Google that on your way out the door.
It's the dagger something.
It's the
What's
big
this
pink
thing
dagger,
called?
which is not a
I don't know.
dagger at all. It's a clip point.
Yep, it's a big giant clip on. It's like 4 inches or so.
But the action sounds
giant,
incredible
but-
on that. The action
Yeah, it's
sounds
just so nice.
yeah.
You don't
it's-
even got to do anything.
Is that a ball bearing action pivot there, Inky?
You know, I don't know. This is one knife I just had to have, and I just play with it when I'm at my thing here. I got one. I got bought 2. I bought a green one with a black blade, and I started carrying that a couple of days ago. So I got one when I'm ready to leave, and one in my desk. And I don't know why, man. Just love this thing. The skull clip, the skull handles, everything about it.
Yeah, it's a nice looking knife. I actually kind of like everything about it except the blade on that one. I really don't much care for those not fixed blades, the clip points that start out really, really thin near the tang and
Yeah.
then widen out.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just sort of that particular
doesn't-
design doesn't appeal to me.
It doesn't widen so much as it really cuts down into the clip is really cut. And
Well, the actual clip, I'm talking about the point where the clip starts and down to
Yeah,
the
like
trailing
here?
edge or to the cutting edge. Yeah, it's very
it's not
fat
that
there.
it's not that much wider. This makes it does have a little belly though, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is
Mind
wider,
you-
but it's really this that does it.
It
If you
seems
were
to
to
get
cut a
narrow
recurve
back.
into that, I could probably see my way fit to really appreciating it, though.
It does seem to get narrow
Careful.
back by the ricasso.
I'm gonna get my Dremel tool and I'm gonna show you. Yeah, it is. But they do the Pero they have a Pero,
Right?
which is more of a daggery blade. They got one it's almost looks like an even dagger. One that almost has I forget the name of the blade shape, but it has like a swedge and a dagger, but it's the same. And this one, that's why I forgot the name of this one, because I thought the name for this was better for the other ones. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah, they got 3 different blade styles for these. The other ones are way more fitting for this kind of knife, but I figured I'm going to use this, and this is more usable than kind of a dagger style blade. You get much more done with this, unless you want to stick someone, which I never plan on doing with a knife.
They got
I
one
use my
called the
finger.
Zalo. Is a Hilo or something like that? It looks very Spyderco-ish. It's got a hole in it in the blade. They got a number
Yeah.
of them with holes.
I have that one. I have a small one like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what made me know they were nice. I thought it was bigger. I ordered. It's very Spyderco-ish. The handles, everything. Nested liner, I think.
Like the Nightmare X lock. Yeah,
No,
it looks very
that's
nice. It's a
cool.
nice looking knife.
Which one? That one? Or-
The Nightmare X lock, it's called.
Yeah, they make a lot of nice stuff. I think they're Russian knives, but made in China. Designed by Russians, I'm pretty sure. Or
It's kind of interesting. We've been getting into the Ethan Grow knives, and Dagger actually has a knife that looks exactly like one of Ethan Grow's. Sorry, just thought I'd throw that out there. I was a farm kid. I was a farm kid, so it wasn't uncommon for you to carry a pocket knife to cut string, or it wasn't any kind of cord, or open pallets of some sort. I just find that it's the idea that it's a tool, and things like multi-tools and flashlights and lighters, they make me feel they're comfortable because they make me feel capable of doing something. They make me feel self-reliant. I'm not gonna perform some miracle repair as we've talked about before on something that's broken a lot of times, but I might fix something minor at one point that makes my life a lot easier. Or another good example is when I worked at Lee Valley. I always say Lee Valley. One of the customers' eyeglasses broke. And so I pulled out my Swiss Army knife and I pulled the screwdriver out of there and I fixed his eyeglasses, and he was intrigued. He said, "Wow, that's you just got that little knife and had that little tool in it, everything like that." And I explained to him what model I had, how I added the screwdriver, and that I carried on me because of my own glasses. And he was like, took all the information down, and you just got the sense that his eyes were open, that I don't have to walk around with broken glasses anymore. Technically, I could I could fix them myself if I just had what this guy was carrying on him. And so that's what it is for me. The short of it, without rambling on, is it gives me security by a feeling of self-reliance. And I like working with my hands. That's probably the third part of it is I do like working with my hands. I like fixing things. I'm a machinist, I'm a carpenter, I do renovations, and as you guys like to hear me say, I'm a handyman right now.
On the
But if I
fool.
didn't have that self-reliance, I wouldn't be making money like I'm making now. I wouldn't be having, like, in an economy where it's hard to find a job, that skill set is making me money. It's keeping me above board. But and I'm just saying there's a lot of security wrapped down around the fact that you can actually do things for yourself. And I'm not trying to judge anybody. I just don't know how people in public can walk through their life being around so much stuff that can break and cause them an inconvenience and not have an idea. But there's a security in that. I think for a lot of people, there's a security in that. And if you like that security, I think, or you think you might like that security, that's when you start learning to fix things. It's not enough to carry a multi-tool. You have to learn what to do with it. And a lot of people I'm around, when they see me do stuff like that, they become like the guy with the eyeglasses. They're like, wow.
It's interesting that you mentioned eyeglasses were part of the reason why you appreciate the whole EDC mindset. Growing up, I was the only one in my family that didn't have glasses. And so I was the one that was tapped to fix everybody else's glasses. I only got these shortly after my 50th birthday. And my father was a combat engineer in the Canadian military, so he always had pocket knives and things like that lying around the house. And so it just sort of became a thing for me that, whenever I needed a knife, there was a good one handy. And my father taught me a lot about good tools. A good quality tool is much better than 10 cheap ones or 10 that don't do the job. So that's kind of, the reason I got into it, which actually leads me to something else. Abe, did you look into boot theory like I suggested?
Yeah, buying the idea that poor people have to buy cheap, and so therefore they actually in the long run spend more money because they're replenishing their well, not replenishing, they're replacing what gets damaged because it was of low quality.
Yeah. Yeah, and they still walk around with their feet being wet most of the time anyway.
Yeah.
Inky's looking confused.
No, I
Inky,
know.
there's an author by the name of Terry Pratchett, and he does a bunch of fantasy sci-fi series books in what he calls the Discworld series. But and this particular theory has taken on a life of its own, far beyond his. It's sort of a satirical look at our world, and the idea is that a rich man will buy a pair of boots for $100, and they'll last him a good 10 years. And the poor people, they buy a pair of boots that are, $50 because they can't afford the $100 boots. And those boots are good for,
Yeah.
maybe a year, if that. But they can only afford to buy them, every few years. And so they spend 2 of those 3 years walking around with holes in their boots and wet feet and stuff like that. And that gets into our the whole mentality of buy quality and only cry once that we tend to use a lot in the EDC industry. So it's a fascinating thought if anybody ever felt like looking it up. But, like I said, it's sort of a throwaway gag that was in, a fantasy sci-fi comedy novel. But it has a lot more depth than I think, people initially gave it.
It's definitely true.
Yeah, like I think about my Tilly hats. I used to wear Tilly hats almost exclusively, and I wore them for years. And, every 5 years or so, I'd end up with a giant hole in one where the fabric would just give out. And, it was not a cheap hat to begin with, but, I would just go back to Tilly and they would replace it. So, I probably went 15, 20 years with only, having bought one hat.
Yeah.
Now, I've had it replaced a few times, but, it was still me only purchasing the hat once.
Yeah, it works.
So
You do pay for that in a way, though. You do kind of pay for that replacement. I've got 2 Tilly hats, and one was free so I used to do a lot of canoeing. So we were coming up on a portage one day. For those people listening that aren't familiar with that term, it's a carryover in canoeing. You pick your canoe and you carry it over land to your next body of water. And we were with some amateurs, and the guy swung around and he full on clipped me with the canoe, with the gunnel of the canoe in the head. And he slashed through the Tilly hat, he caused my skin to break, tear, and I bled into the hat. The funny thing was when I called Tilly up, because this is what you pay for when you pay this price. When I called Tilly up and said, I got a problem, they said, what? And I said, the hat's there's not a thread missing on the hat. He didn't cut through the hat. The hat was so tough, it literally clung to the gunnel of the other canoe and sliced me in my head, right? Broke open the skin. And they said, okay, what's the problem? I said, I can't get the blood stain out. And they were like, oh, that shouldn't happen, sir. And they sent me a brand new hat because I couldn't get the blood stain out of my own hat. And so all I did was take Carhartt duck color, that tan color, and dye my hat and to cover up the blood. And that's exactly what it did. And so now I got two perfect good Tilly hats. But that's what you get when you pay quality. Even if the quality wasn't there, when you get a lifetime guarantee on a tool or anything, part of it is you're overcharged so much that they're planning on at least replacing it once or twice.
Yes and no. For a good quality product like a Tilly or a Craftsman tool or something like that, you're absolutely correct. But that has also become kind of a marketing thing, and some of the cheaper brands do that now, knowing full well that they'll have changed their name and be doing business under another brand name by the time you break it and have to come back to them.
Yeah, I've heard of that, and I'm not saying it's wrong or anything like that. I just never ran into it before. It's commonly, I'm more familiar with it in the tool department, like Craftsman or Harbor Freight, things like that. The price on certain lines are so high, they just like Mastercraft. I remember one time I snapped a socket, and the woman looked at me, goes, hand tool, and walked right over the shelf, grabbed one, didn't say boo, just handed it to me. I don't know what she did for paperwork because I didn't fill out any paperwork.
I did the same thing with Craftsman back at Sears, which just shows how old we are. But there are certain brands, and I'm trying to think of what they are. For some reason, Great Neck and Sheffield and companies like that are coming to mind, where they're in the discount bins at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. And, they say lifetime warranty on the back, but if you break them, good luck finding anybody in customer service to actually do it for you. You go back to the store and they say, oh, yeah, no, we don't exchange that brand over the counter. You have to contact your customer service. And, and then you just make it such a nightmare. You're like, screw it, I'll just go buy another one.
Yeah. And usually for me, when you're talking about something of that nature, like especially in the tool area and in some of the knife areas that you look at, if they've got a lifetime guarantee, but the price doesn't reflect like they're charging so they can replace it, they're not gonna.
Right.
They're gonna go do. On the other hand, see, this is a deep topic because we're kind of straying away from why we carry.
Really, us getting away from our topic. What are the odds?
But it's tough. I'll be the first one to say it. It's to be fair. It's tough when you're dealing with the public. So when I was at Lee Valley, this guy came in and he had a set of Corona shears. And I believe they're made in South America somewhere, kind of like in Coma and stuff like that. And the guy had bought them on clearance from Lee Valley over 11 years beforehand because we keep those records. And he came in and he goes, first he says, well, these broke when I was using them this year. He says, I was hoping you would do right by me and replace them. And I said, no problem. Just let me check something because we do have a replacement policy, but it's kind of prorated depending on the tool. Let me see what the policy is on this because of, the brand name and stuff like that and the possibility that it's not a full replacement right away. It's a partial replacement. And we have replaced stuff that, guys, I remember replacing a Craig jig that some guy bought the day before and he melted it. And they're plastic. So he just put the power drill to it so hard he melted it. So anyways, I went back into the computer bank and found out that this guy had bought this set of loppers for $14 on clearance 11 years ago. And he said, oh, I don't remember. First he started out with, I don't remember. And when I found that out, I said, well, it says here that you bought them 11 years ago for $14. He goes, yeah. And the cheapest pair we had was 80 at that time. And I said, there's nothing I can do for you. He goes, why? You're Lee Valley. You're supposed to stand behind your product. I said, sir, if this has a prorated warranty on it, you've had them for 11 years. You bought them for $14. If it's prorated that you lose $2 on the price every year you've had them, you're going to have to pay me to take them back because you're so far past everything.
Yeah.
And the point of the story too, and this is probably like a huge telltale sign of everything. So when we were done, I said I couldn't do anything for him as far as giving him a free pair to walk home with. I said, would you like me to throw these away? Because they're broken. They were clearly broken. They were non-usable. He goes, no, I'll take them home with me. So you know what that meant? He was going to come back in later when he found another employee that wasn't thorough and try and pawn them off, or he was going to go to another one of the stores.
Yeah.
And we see this in the knife industry, and this is why I bring this up, is if you take a skinning knife and put it up against a log and try and pound it through a log that has a knot in it that makes Dorothy's Adventure look like it was a straight walk down a road, right? This is twisted. And you go try and go through that and you bust the knife, and then you want to pawn it off on the company for it being bad. You're the reason why they build the extra price up, because they know that they're going to, I mean, and it's not to take sides, but being on both sides of the thing as a guy who makes stuff and a guy who's retailed stuff, and I'm not sure people want to hear this, because sometimes they don't want to hear that people themselves can be at fault. But when you do that kind of stuff, it's absolutely insane, and you kind of ruin it for everybody else.
Absolutely.
Especially if the thing breaks, honestly, if it honestly breaks and you're like, well, yeah, you know, you're the fifth person today that said they didn't do anything wrong with their set of pliers or their wrench or the sockets. So just, that's my little rant there for a little bit. It's hard. And on the other hand too, we just went over it. There are some companies that are crooked, that they're not really good companies, and you don't want to do business with them. So nowadays we're fortunate. The internet means you can do your research and find out whether or not, like, you know, if Inky puts a review up on the website that he bought the knife from, then you know whether or not it's any good or not. You can tell by the way the review's written. So,
You know, speaking of quality, I bought my first Max Edition bag, Proteus Versapack, in 2002 or 2003. I still use it.
Yeah, I have a Max
I've used
Expedition
it.
tactical operator that I got not too long after that.
I remember one day I had so much stuff in my hand, my bag dropped. I had to kick it and from the mall all the way to my car. It was like nothing happened to it. I was expecting to pick it up. I was like, oh, wow, it's not bad. You know?
Yeah, those Max Expedition bags, I've just been
Yeah.
impressed by them. I've had a tactical operator bag for probably 2005, maybe 2006, somewhere around there. And the only thing wrong with it is that yellow or that clear plastic panel there for the ID slot or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's yellowed and cracked, but basically that bag has lasted longer than the plastic that's supposed to be, what, 1,000,000 years in a landfill or something like that.
I have a fat
I
boy.
try not to buy anything quality with the plastic view window on it. Like I can see a really nice wallet. I'm like, I want it. I'm like, oh, has a plastic view window. You know, like that to me is like someday, no matter what happens, this is going to be no good. Sorry, I didn't mean it, but
No,
one of
it's
my
going to dry
friends.
out. They dry out. There's some kind of chemical that fumes off from it and they dry out.
Yeah.
So I have a fat boy. I still have a fat boy. About 3 years ago, when I moved out of my house, I got a new EDC bag. I think I told Grant about this. I was talking to him about his Infinity or his entity, and the strap on my bag, not even 2 years after I had it, not even a full 2 years after I had it, this one armband, the one that I tend to hook around my arm the most and carry it by itself, it shreds. The insulation shreds, the ventilation mesh threads. And that wasn't cheap either. And I want to mention the name of the company because, well, shit, it was a Samsonite. And I was expecting that this thing would survive a full-on onslaught by a gorilla, you know, because the old commercials. And this backpack just started falling apart on the strap. So
everything's named still. Everybody's still living off names. You know, like every company lives off their name.
Yeah, well, the problem is anything that was built with quality in 1973, people still haven't replaced to this day, so they haven't made any more money, and places like Sears have gone under as a result of it. So getting back to our idea of being prepared and, universal desire to be prepared, I couldn't find my socket set the other day. I was servicing my snowblower, and I needed to get I forgot what it's called, spark plug. I needed to get the spark plug out, so I needed a deep throat socket. And I couldn't find my socket set.
And a couple of...
Now, I have been going back and forth between our new camp and doing stuff around the house.
For those people who don't know what a spark plug is.
If you don't know what a spark plug is, why are you watching this show?
To learn.
Anyways.
To learn.
So I decided that it was just easier to go and buy a whole new damn socket set. This one's on sale, by the way, this week at Canadian Tire. But yeah, I just bought a whole new socket set. Now, I've got another Stanley set that I also couldn't find. But my usual socket set is more of a portable set that, and it's on my forum too at forum.multitool.org. But yeah, that's what I call my around town socket set. And I couldn't find it. So I bought this much larger set, which will now be my around town sockets.
And for those people listening to this, Grant held up a Stanley multi-piece black chrome socket set. And the thing about the black chrome set is that's also for the sexy mechanic. Because you got
I thought you were going to say you get it all that black stuff all over your hands the first time you use it.
No, it doesn't go anywhere, but, usually when I'm using...
No, trust me. When you're using the Stanley Black Chrome set, the first time you use them, you get black crap all over your hands.
Well, that's probably tooling dust, isn't it? Because the chrome's never come off of mine.
Oh, it's not the chrome. It might be the tooling dust. I'm not sure what you call it, but there's some kind of gunk on it that you get all over your hands. But, that's okay. My father was a combat engineer. You do a lot of shitty jobs when you're a combat engineer. And it's funny because my father will always, he's going to give me shit for saying anything about him on the internet. Old man doesn't trust the internet at all. But every now and then, whenever he's doing something that's particularly messy, you hear him muttering to himself, "It's only shit, Lamontagne. Hands are washable."
Yeah, no, it makes sense. That makes sense.
I was going to probably say my mother wore combat boots, but that beats that.
That's one of these days. I'm gonna pull all kinds of quotes from these shows, and I'm just gonna have a series of T-shirts printed, and that's definitely gonna be up there. It's only shit, Lamontagne. Hands are washable. EDC-TV.
So, and for those of you that don't know this, we were having a discussion before the show started where Grant gave us shit for holding stuff up and not actually describing what we had. So that's why I described the toolkit for Grant there. It's not... Well, yeah, I was just being an ass. Fuck it. I'm not even going to try and paint it like it was an innocent kind of thing. I was being a dick.
Nope, you got me good on that one. That was my bad. I should have done better on that one.
Well, yeah, but the black chrome stuff is kind of Gucci. Like if you're working on your car in your driveway, and you're using black chrome, you've got to make sure to leave your coveralls open a little bit of grease on your cheek, and make sure you've got plenty of sweat, even if it's cold.
Got the
you've got a
down shirt there.
Yeah,
yeah. But no, I needed the black set because it matches my fancy new black truck, and as we mentioned earlier, my bright blue Yeti matches the interior trim accents. So there you go. I am as Gucci as they come now.
Yes. Well, yes. Speaking of earlier, then this knife is called this is a dagger toothpick. 4.9-inch blade.
And this is the pink one that we were discussing earlier.
Yes.
And
so
for those
that
who are
really sounds good, that one.
Yeah.
I love this knife, man.
Flick that one open again there, right in front of the microphone for us, will you, Yankee?
Sure.
Look at that, that is a good sound.
Yeah. And for those of you who are interested, Chicago Cutlery has two pink ones left. They have two pink ones left. And if you want to go there and buy them before I do it, please do so. Because I'm looking at the whole selection of this dagger knives, and you guys need to go there before I get off this show and avail yourself of the Inky. I hate you. There's at least 5 of these knives I want to buy now.
Bro, this thing is amazing. To deter you, you don't get free shipping at all from Chicago anymore. No matter what the order is. Does that help?
No, because the price. Okay, so one of the ones
these are at least $10 cheaper at Chicago Cutlery than anywhere else.
They got
25.
They've got a clearance on like the Dopey, and the Dopey is only $16.84.
The Dopey? Oh, that's me.
The Dopey, I don't know why they call it the Dopey liner lock in
Dopey liner
black.
lock.
Yeah, that's a freaking phenomenal looking knife.
That is a nice looking knife. Yeah, I'm just looking that up now.
Yeah.
But now, don't get me wrong. This is not like an Eifengrau. This doesn't have that same crap, this thing you go through a bulldozer feeling. But it is a good knife.
Is that the new Cold Steel Proof video where they stab through a bulldozer? That's about the only thing they haven't jammed a knife through.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a good knife. And it feels good, it's strong, everything. But it's not that that feeling that I know you like for sure now, Abe.
Well, it's
And it's the feeling that I like. That's why. The other feelings we share, we'll keep for after we stop recording. That's nice. And that's a friggin', well, I need to know what it is. That's a 4-inch blade almost on that one too, Abe.
Yeah,
well,
that's huge.
On the Dopey.
yeah, no,
Oh,
that's a
yes.
nice look. They also got an all
Nice.
black dagger toothpick left, which is nice. I tend not to go with black blades because after a while they kind of get the black wears off and it kind of makes them looks not so nice as where would you have just this plain
Yeah.
steel one you can hit with some Scotch Brite and
Yeah,
it
exactly.
looks good. But I mean, if I can't get another dagger, because I'm not into don't get me wrong, I'm not into the pink.
I got the green one with the black blade. It was actually on sale for like $23.
I'm
That's the
just
one I
looking at that
carry.
right now,
I
and
just
that's
wanted a pink knife. You know what happened? I keep buying Wendy pink knives, like a pink Benchmade, a pink this, and one day I was like, geez, I want a pink knife too. And it happened. I bought myself a pink knife.
And you've never looked back.
I don't care. You said that's you can't. What's there to say about it?
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
no. They got 2 pink handle ones left, one with a silver blade and one with a black blade.
Mhm.
So it's a good looking line. We've talked
It
about
looks
this.
great in black, but like you said, I don't use black blades much.
Yeah. And that's a big size knife. That's a large size knife.
She's huge.
And the
My
Ethan
hands
Girl.
I got catches mitts for hands. Look at this thing.
Yeah. No, it looks good.
You can
kind of
almost
reminds me of, what is that cold
grant
steel
you
there?
two-handed.
The Espada? Is that the big one?
Yeah.
There's the Espada and there's the Vaquero. I have the old serrated Vaquero around here somewhere.
I was gonna get the Pero. I like the Vendetta, but the Pero seemed more usable. But I wound up getting this because I just figured, like, I'm gonna use it. So why not have this kind of blade is much more utilitarian than a more of a daggery blade, you know? I do like the other, but the Vendetta is beautiful, man. I think the Vendetta is great. The Pero is nice. That's a full flat grind on that Pero, too.
Yeah. No, they look really good. I mean, I like a
Just a
good
little more
utility knife.
saber.
I like a good utility knife on these, but the price is absolutely unbelievable. Now
Yeah.
they do have one here. Dagger Nightmare X is 232. Well, it's on sale for on for 232. So I'm kind of I
don't
got to
know
read
what
that
the
later
deal-
as to why out of all these economy knives that one's so expensive.
Now that Dopey, take a look at it. You got the skull clip, right? Screaming.
Well, I
Oh, the
got
one I have, the little one, has blue screws. So it has blue eyes behind this clip. Now, also, you got the skull on the handles. You got the skull screaming clip. I bet you that's a really nice knife for $17, man. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I might get all 3 of those with Grant's money.
Yeah.
If you find any money with my name on it, feel free to make use of it, because it's obviously lost.
Well, that
Even
Dopey
a
I will
pivot.
probably buy. I'll probably buy the Dopey before this comes out. Also, look at the Finca. Take a look at the Finca.
How about the Perriman? That's cool looking.
So, folks
Wow,
at
look at the
Dagger
Perriman.
Cutlery, if you are looking
Sorry.
to sponsor a podcast, feel free to get a hold of us at EDC-TV
I
at
wanna-
multitool.org.
Don't forget to grab your dagger knives, Perriman Zubri. Just kidding.
And the same goes for you guys at Petrified Fish, who
Thank
are
you.
going to have to be sending me a trilobite shortly. But, gentlemen, that is about it for another show. We are running out of time again. So I think we got another great one behind us. Do you have any parting thoughts you'd like to share there, Inky?
Yes, if you think I'm handsome, you should see the way I smell in person as well.
We can see your smell. Okay, that's
I can smell your sea.
okay. That one just went from
Something
bad
like
to
that.
worse.
Yeah.
Let me try that again. Not only do I look good, I smell good.
Okay,
I just spring.
good to know. And
Thank
how
you.
about you, Abe? Anything you want people to take away from this episode tonight?
Please support my knife habit by mailing money to EDC-TV, multitool.org. If you can complain, you can donate. This is going to cost me a buttload of cash. We can't afford to go any longer than one season because I don't think I can afford it.
This is why I started a multi-tool forum and not a microtech collectors group. But anyways,
I
you
was
can
in that
find
group.
us at forum.multitool.org if you have any questions or thoughts or you want to get involved. There's going to be an awful lot of people there that'll be, interested to hear what kind of things you like. Of course, multitool.org is the sponsor for this show. So if you enjoy this show, don't bother wasting your time commenting on our Facebook group or our TikTok channel or our Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever the hell else we are because, well, let's face it, the billionaires have enough money already. So let's support the industry that supports all of you out there. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you had as great a time as we do. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.
All right, guys.